Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Everbreed's session today on pedigrees. Welcome if you've had a chance to join our groups before. Thanks for joining again, and we look forward to having you guys back for more. We'll do these sessions once a month, usually on the fourth Friday of the month. We'll pick some aspect of our software that we can review. Today, it is going to be pedigrees. So without any further ado, let me introduce my co-host, Brianna Camper. Hey, Brianna.
Hello.
And Brianna will be walking through some of the features and benefits with me of the pedigree portion of the software. She's a breeder as well, and we'll kind of give you some best practices, take you through each of the aspects of the app, and then give you some insights on maybe how we use them as well. And if you have any questions or need some help at any point, you can reach us at support@everbreed.com. And we look forward to hearing from you. So without any further ado, let me change screens here and we'll go into the app itself and do a quick walkthrough. All right, Brandon, can you see my screen okay?
Yes, I can.
All right, fantastic. Let me move some of my Zoom windows around and turn off some of this background noise. And we will get going. All right. So with the app itself, we have made quite a few enhancements to the breeder features, and along with that, the pedigree features as well. And we have this a pretend rabbitry that we've built on here. It's called Anytown Rabbitry, and with that, we've imported a number of bucks and does. We've given them some ages and some weights. We've given them some colors and some statuses. So try not to judge us too hard because all this is very experimental. You're going to see rabbits that are with other rabbits, and you're like, wait a minute, those two rabbits can't make that rabbit. But we try to fill in all the photographs and make it as live as we can to mimic that of another rabbitry. So we can use this instance as we go along, and it'll grow as we grow. So with that, on the left-hand side, you can click the breeders. If you'll notice, the breeder list, the module has changed. It used to be that there was a pull-down arrow, and there would be a series of choices. Those have all been built into the breeder tab at this point. So if you're starting in your dashboard, it'll look something like this. And you can easily click on the breeders to the left-hand side. And with that, we'll click into Fireball, which is a rabbit that we're going to work with today, and Fireball's pedigree. So you can see we've now taken all of the tabs, or all of the list of items that were on the left, and we've created tabs inside of the breeder function. So make sure you look for each one of those. If you're looking for information that you've found before previously on the left, they're all kind of built in here, so you don't have to keep switching back and forth. So today we're going to work on the actual feature called Pedigree, and you'll just simply click on that particular tab. And for this demo, I actually opened it, when I created it, I switched it back into the vertical format. So we'll look at how you can change the formats of the pedigree and how you view them either on your device, whether it's mobile or desktop, and then also too how they'll be printed. Brianna, I don't know about you, but we typically always do them in the horizontal format. How about you?
Yes, I always view it in horizontal.
Yeah, I think I'm sure there's probably some instances where you may want to see it in the vertical. I think particularly if you're printing it, but you can see the way it lays out here on vertical. And I think a lot of times we tend to ignore that feature, and I wanted to make sure I showed it today. So that's sort of where I let off. So after you go to the Pedigree tab, you're going to see some other buttons down here, and we're going to walk through each one of these. One of the primary ones that I want to discuss today is the Pedigree Settings. And that's where you're going to find a Pedigree Settings window will come up, and you'll actually have the Style tab, and within that, you'll also have the Content tab. And from the Style tab, you can change the way that your pedigree looks. You can change the color dynamics for bucks and does, as opposed to just having pink and blue, which for me, I still stick with pink and blue. It's the easiest way to remember. But for other folks, they've asked for some additional colors, so we've given it to them. And again, I know some of you have asked for other color enhancements, and they are on the drawing board for future releases. And then, of course, the layout. So you can change this layout just selecting horizontal. And for the demonstration today, I'm going to go switch back to horizontal because I'm just a little bit more comfortable with that. So when we apply that, you'll see that now our screen has changed from left to right. And if you're not seeing everything you want to see on the screen, you can go up to the magnifying glasses, and you can either enlarge it or you can reduce it. And you'll see that things start to come a little bit more into view as you do that. If you, for some reason, you're clicking and clicking and clicking, and things are just changing really fast, and you're like, "Whoa, wait a minute! It got too small for me." You can just hit your reset view. It'll refresh the page, and you'll be back to where you started. Okay, so back to pedigree settings. While we're on that tab, again, you can change the look of your pedigree. You can have it with a double frame, and you can see it just changes the design look. It really doesn't do much in terms of functionality, but some people just maybe prefer to have it look a certain way. So we've given you some design choices there. And then of course you can choose your colors if you want maybe something a little bit more stylish, pink and blue. I tend to like this one. It looks pretty good. And again, when you transmit this digitally, you'll have these vibrant colors. And
All
then
of these settings can be reflected on the PDF copy, so you'll have a paper or a offline copy of this exact look.
yeah, and I think a lot of times you get your pedigrees, and they're kind of either photocopied from other breeders, or they just don't look pretty. And we collect them all, the ones we have, and we have them in a notebook, so we keep tabs on all of them. So it provides a nice, attractive look if you're providing this, especially to someone that you've sold a rabbit to. The second tab up top is the content, and this gives you options to actually choose which fields you want to show on your pedigree or hide. And I think this is particularly beneficial for some folks who don't necessarily show, who don't have champion numbers, who don't record legs. But ultimately, this allows you to condense the information or expand the information on your pedigree as you choose. So we're giving you some flexibility. So for the sake of this demonstration, I've turned off the championship number, the registration number, and the number of legs. But we'll
One
see the other.
scenario, I'm sorry to interrupt, but one
No, no.
scenario that I've come across for a function like this is if a user wants to share a pedigree to a potential buyer
Hmm.
and doesn't want to necessarily show all of the information, like where they originally got the rabbits, like the prefixes,
Hmm.
or like you said, the registration numbers, or all of the things like that, to help discourage duplications or falsifying documents, because I've heard that's
Right.
becoming a major issue
Yeah,
recently.
and I think too that's a great call out, because when you're first getting in, someone gets in touch with you, you really don't know them,
Hmm.
and so if you just want to share a little bit of information, you could do it, and you wouldn't actually have it in writing, so they wouldn't be able to see, like you said, where does the rabbit come from. It's one thing to tell them; it's another thing to actually print it on a pedigree and share it with them, where they can copy it. So, yeah, great call out there. All right, and then the other feature that we'll have down at the bottom is that you can choose the number of generations that you want to actually view on the pedigree itself, and it will go up to 8 maximum. Typically, most of us tend to show 4. So for the sake of printing and the size of paper, it's gonna be limited to 4 generations when you print. But if you want to share that, if you want to view it number 1 on your own system, you can view it up to 8. And when you do that, if you choose 8 and you send a link, which we're going to show you how to send that digitally in just a moment, it will show all of the generations up to 8. So a good feature here to definitely have. This is one of the more recent improvements. Bree, was there anything I missed on this particular tab you wanted to call out?
I do not think so, no.
All right. So we're gonna just gonna go ahead and cancel this. We'll keep everything the way we have it. We've got this pretty blue and pretty pink, and we've got a little dotted line around the edge, so it gives it some style. Next up, what we want to do is we'll discuss just briefly the shareable link. So at this point, if I have someone who is interested in seeing the pedigree, and I don't have a way to, let's say I did it in a PDF, but they don't have a PDF reader, or they're not on a, they don't have a printer, or whatever the scenario happens to be, you can simply get a link. And if I press this, you can actually see. Tell me if you can see my URL bar up there.
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Yeah, I can't see it because the Zoom window is covering it up, but I've highlighted. So
Hmm.
we'll actually give you this this address, this URL address, and you can easily copy this and send it to someone, and then they would actually go to this same address, and this information would populate. And this particular version is it's actionable. So if you look to the right hand side, there's an expand all. So each of these is functioning. If you click on, just let's say we click on Snickers, we can actually see Snickers information one at a time. And you can see that we bought this. There's a show note in here that I bought this from Brianna. And if I go down to Hershey, I can see that there's no particular notes. And the genotype was not specified. So we're showing here, for example, this says not applicable. There just wasn't any information placed into the genotype system for this particular rabbit. So if you're looking and you don't want to keep clicking one at a time, you can simply just expand all, and then every rabbit that is on the pedigree will expand its information. So it's really quick to view.
Something that I like about using the link over the hard copy is that if the main owner of the rabbit updates the pedigree at all, like the show notes, or has information that they haven't added yet, this will also update to any link that has been shared.
Perfect. Yeah. So sometimes we look at rabbits, but we don't buy them immediately. And a lot of information can change along the way, particularly in the matter of a few weeks. If there's additional breeding or additional births or what have you, or conditions of the rabbits change, it's nice that this is all live. One thing I do want to point out that is kind of implanted over here with Twizzlers: if you don't have a photograph of the rabbit in the system, it's just going to give you this cool little rabbit icon. So it might be worth going back into your own system, digging up a picture of Twizzler and putting it in there. I know it's not necessarily the largest photograph on the planet, but I'm sure that anyone who is going to be purchasing a rabbit might like to see at least a small image of it, a thumbnail, just for the sake of it. But our system's set up. If you don't have a photograph, it's not just going to leave this whole area blank. We're just going to leave it blank with the photograph. And then of course, it's got you have your own Rabbitry logo and your Rabbitry information, which is all created in the settings portion of the app. And if you don't know how to do that, you can view one of our previous webinars that we left on YouTube, and you can learn how to do that. Anything else here?
No, I think that's it.
One thing we do share on this, just for branding purposes and to kind of help grow our business, is there's an active button in the top. If you send this to someone else and they don't happen to have the Everbreed software, it's a way for them to be able to get to our site and actually capture. Let me know if you're seeing this as rolls over into the next tab. So I'm already signed in at this point, but if they were not already a breeder, it would take them to or an Everbreed user, it would take them to the sign-on page where they could sign up for their free 30-day trial. All right, so that's the shared link version. Obviously, the tab on the left, Generate PDF, it's pretty simple. At this point, you just click that, and you're going to see it bounce down into the tray. And then you'll go to your downloads, and for the sake of the demonstration, I won't open it because you're not going to be able to see it in my Adobe Reader. But at that point, you've now downloaded a copy in a PDF format, and you could share it with someone that way if you'd like. But again, it's completely written, and once you send it to them, it can't really be taken back. And Other than that, I would say for
The
the
import options?
yeah, the import options, this is one that we try to elaborate on almost on every session, because this is really, really smart feature. If you want to import a rabbit from Everbreed, um, Brianna, I'm gonna let you walk through this while I dial us through on that. Let me move some windows here. So we showed the URL previously on the rabbit.
So, for example, here, if you have a URL provided by another breeder and you want to import that pedigree into another or into your new account, you can copy the URL of that pedigree and paste it into the URL option. And that will essentially duplicate the pedigree into the new rabbit. I will mention that you do have to make a new profile for this to work. It doesn't automatically generate when you generate the rabbit. It's something it's an extra step, just you have to get used to.
Yeah. So, for example, if I purchased a rabbit from you, you would go into that particular rabbit.
Mhm.
I'm gonna, or if you and I were trading rabbits or selling rabbits, if I was going to use Gummy Bear, for example, I would go to Gummy Bear's pedigree. I would, I could generate a shareable link, and now you can see this is Gummy Bears. I would copy this link,
Correct.
and then I would send it to you, and you would be able to go into your breeders and import that.
Y- Yes. What I was trying to mention was that if I didn't have Gummy Bear, I would have to create a blank profile and name it Gummy Bear
Right, you'd have to
and
create a
then
new one.
import.
Right,
Yes.
right here. So you would go through and create this, and then once it was created, then you can go to Pedigree and you can import using the link that I shared with you.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So there are numerous ways to actually import. You can import from an Everbreed link. You can import from Evans software, same way. So if we each had different software, I could send you information from Evans, or you can import it from another rabbit.
Mhm.
So if this feature I think is handy when you have to build a pedigree and you have siblings. Is that the best way you see it, or is that the way you use
Yeah,
it?
that's exactly how it's used if you
Yeah.
have siblings or like half um, related rabbits. Like, say, for example, you have a rabbit with the same mother but a different father.
Correct.
The copy function is able to copy just one side of the pedigree. And
Mm-hmm.
I do want to mention back with the public link import, if you have a PDF copy, a hard copy of a Hutch or an Everbreed pedigree, you can scan the available QR code and it'll give you the link that we discussed earlier.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Hutch being our former name. So if you receive anything from Hutch, that
Yeah.
information can also be added. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that I think is the nuts and bolts of the actual pedigree itself. Trying to think if there's
You
any other
might also want
subjects.
to go over how to add the breeder information, like the rabbitry name and your location, because I think that has been recently updated.
Yeah, let's do that. So if you log in and you're in your dashboard, or actually from anywhere, you'll go up to the upper right hand corner to your profile settings. And let me move some windows around here. Okay. So you'll have some tabs up top now. So there's a general tab for all of your general settings. If you want to, if you're using pounds or ounces or grams or kilos, whatever your country's currency happens to be. Date formatting. I think that's super important because, you know, we in the US, just like the metric system, we don't necessarily do our dating the way the rest of the world does. You can put in a default prefix, either the full name, or you might put in an initial for your barn, if some of you do that. So instead of you know, Riverside Rabbits, you could just put RR. And then, of course, you can choose your default breed here as well. And those 50 breeds that are recognized by the ARBA are in there, and you may find a couple more actually. And then you
And
can,
these last two fields will auto-populate for any fields that have that option on the pedigree or on your account.
yeah, it really saves you from having to type that in every single time.
Hmm.
So it's a big benefit. And then just over to the right, there is the schedule. So this is how you actually, the first thing here is more of a marketing piece. If you want to join our weekly digest, and you'll get a report sent to you every week that tells you what your tasks or what upcoming things or most important things happening in your barn are. I think this is probably one of the best features of Everbreed, is that at the beginning of the week, you're getting a gentle nudge on what it is that's happening in your barn this week, and making sure that, you know, you've done your weight checks, or you've palpated, or you've got that nest box set up, and you're going to be expecting babies. So that's a super important thing to do. I know it's going to send you an email each week, but you know, you're going to get it once a week. I think it's probably worth joining. And then, of course, you're going to have your breed chains, which here we have just a demo chain. You'll also have a default chain, which is normally set up. And it's just these 7 basics, just to kind of give you an idea of how they're set up. I've actually set up a couple of different chains in here, one for just a longer breed chain that shows what happens after the kits are born. So we check teeth at a certain date, and we check the sex, and we pose them, and we photograph them, because some are going to be put up for sale, and some are going to be put up to grow out. So we definitely want to have photographs of them. So these are all customizable, and not to get too long-winded, but it's probably one of the areas where, particularly if you breed different types of rabbits, or different rabbits have different needs, you can put different reminder chains in here. And of course, we have one in here even for goats that we played around with at one point, for different species. So whether it's chicken or goats, and we had a lady on a couple of weeks ago. She was a cat breeder, I believe, right?
Yes.
So she was actually using our software to help keep up with her. What do you call a cat barn? We call it rabbitry. What is it? A cattery?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. All right, and then finally is the Rabbitry tab itself. The information that you place here will be what's on your Rabbitry, and you can see here that we've just put Anytown Rabbitry 123 Main Street. You can change that up to 180 characters, and then you can add all of the information here that you want to show on your pedigree. Make sure you scroll all the way down in case you have a small window. I'm actually on a laptop at this point. Make sure and save those changes, and then your logo can easily be changed here. Just click it, and it'll open up a window to download something off of your computer files, and you can upload your new logo right there. So this will definitely all be populated onto your pedigrees, makes them look really neat and professional. And let me know if you can see that pedigree window here. It just
Yes.
popped up. Okay, fantastic. Yeah. So again, it's obviously branded with our brand, so folks know where it came from, and then your logo is down here a little bit lower with all that information that you placed in. And then it's also in the lower left-hand corner, we put down that it's this is actually if people have questions, or maybe they're having issues with their pedigrees, they don't necessarily have to contact you. They can contact us. And finally is a referral code that this long link is a referral code for them that they can click on, and you'll receive your $5 credit for everyone who joins Hutch afterwards. So that, I believe, brings us to around the circle for pedigrees. Brianna, was there anything else that you think maybe we should mention
I don't believe
on this
so.
particular one? We tried to walk through, all the aspects. If you attend any of our Zoom sessions, again, we do them once a month, the fourth Friday of every month. Some of these sessions tend to overlap a little bit because so many of these modules are interconnected and intertwined. If you have any questions on this, feel free to drop us a link down in the comment box. This will be posted on YouTube. So drop us a link in the comment box and we'll get back to you with your answer there. Or you can just reach out to us at support@everbreed.com and we will get you an answer back right away. One place that I do want to mention, one area down here is the support corner. There is a knowledge base of articles that are being written. They're all being updated right now at this point. So if you're looking for anything right away and you don't want to have to send an email or wait for someone, a lot of times you can scan the knowledge base. It's searchable. So if you just click this link to the left, it'll open up our knowledge base. You can go to the search bar and just type in pedigree, and anything that's been written on pedigrees will pop up for you. There's also our Facebook group, which you can join. You'll find a lot of helpful articles, and you'll be able to kind of join the community of rabbit breeders that are using our software. And you'll find some interesting questions. You'll find some interesting comments on rabbits as a whole. You'll learn a lot about breeding as well. If you have a question or concern, don't leave that so much on Facebook. It's more of a marketing platform and a community platform. If you've got any issues, leave them with us at the email link here on the lower left-hand side. And then if you have any power suggestions, some things you'd like to see happen on the app, click the portal feedback, the feedback portal button, and that will allow you into an upvoting system where you can leave your suggestions on things you'd like to see, or you can actually scan the portal and see what other Everbreed users have placed in there and see, hey, that might be a really good thing for me, or I'd like to see that. And you can actually vote for it. And as those reside in there, they tend to get a lot of votes, and then it helps us determine what we need to work on next. Because with software like this, there's always a lot that you can do to make it better. We just want to know what you guys want first. So Brianna, thanks for joining me this morning.
Of
And
course.
if there's anything that we've forgotten, I'm sure we'll catch it on the next round. Again, looks like in November, we may need to make an adjustment on that because otherwise looks like our next one will be on Black Friday. So we may move it up a week to the 19th. Catch everybody before they start working on that Christmas shopping. But thanks for joining us today, and we look forward to having you back on our next session. Goodbye, everybody.